old show. This is the big O 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 show. This
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in that corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
If you're Miami... If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See a million, win a million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see a million, win a million.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, boys and girls. We are ready. We are locked and loaded here at Hialeah Park. Yes, sir. Second floor poker room like we are normally on Thursdays, but these last 2 weeks we've done Tuesdays because we were traveling. And this week we're headed off to Canada. Tomorrow morning we're headed off to Montreal and Quebec. for a couple of days. So we covered football and Canton and Zach Thomas and all that good stuff over the last couple of days. And yeah, I was able to rock a little Tesla in between. If I can squeeze in a little rock and roll, we're gonna squeeze in a little rock and roll. But this trip upcoming now is all about rock and roll, baby. So we'll see a little Alter Bridge, some Metallica, some Mammoth. I think Pantera also I get to see in one of these nights, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. Can you look it up for me? Metallica in Montreal, the opening acts. I know Mammoth is one of them. Do I get Pantera also, I think? So it's just going to be a great, we'll still be doing our shows. It'll be normally in the mornings. Okay, I'll get up and do my thing like I normally do on the road. So, now it won't be 7 days a week because we've been on 7 days a week this past week because obviously from Canton we were on every single day. And before I start anything, first of all, I want to thank Perdomo Cigars. I want to thank EJD Construction. I want to thank Welt and Rayom. I want to thank Baptist Health of South Florida, Cutter's Edge Pro, and Sloman's Home Security. Without these sponsors, there's no way we go to the Hall of Fame and cover these events, okay? Without our sponsors, there's no way we can bring you that coverage, bring you Zach Thomas, all of these things. We cannot do it without people helping us. And so that's why I tell you all the time, this is not a game, okay? I get it that you guys watch YouTubers all over the place and all that, but they're not real professionals. They're YouTubers and they're not making a living off of this. You know what I'm saying? So we are professionals. We make a living off of this. And without your support, without the sponsors, there is no way it happens. So I want to thank our sponsors who made it happen for us to get to the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure in the future, a lot of our sponsors are going to make it happen for us to go to other places, hopefully the Super Bowl. Like I said in Canton, when we finish singing the Dolphin fight song, we start in the Hall of Fame. We're going to end in the Super Bowl. So I got to thank our sponsors. And by the way, visit people like KSDT, CPA. Visit EJD Construction. If you need some construction work at your home, you need to improve your home, major home remodeling, please call Eric at EJD Construction, .com. Without people like that, there is no way that this happens, So I thank people like Eric. I thank people like Jeff and Dan at Welton Rayom. We're both grateful, Sean and myself. And, and I know for you, Sean, it seemed like it hit you more after you were at it for a couple of days. How special it is, because it is special what we did over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Over the last couple of days, that is. It was special. And I did it for Marino. And those of you out there that went this past weekend, kudos to you, man, because the Dolphin Nation was strong, dude. Strong, okay? I would call it the strongest because the Cleveland one, it's almost like I can't give you credit when it's like literally in your backyard. It's like, of course you're going to show up, dude. All you got to do is get out of your car and get into your car and go to the stadium 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes away. That's nothing. Our people would do that and stack the place for Zach. Stack it. Okay? But props, man. Props again to the Miami Dolphin Nation. We got in late, man. We had 6 delays. 6 delays? Yeah, you got it for me? What is it? Right, Pantera and Mammoth, right? One night. Oh, so I get 5-finger death punch and Ice 9 kills the other night. So I get Pantera and Mammoth opening up one night for Metallica. And then what was 5-finger death punch I'm looking forward to. Ice 9 kills I don't really care about. But 5-finger death punch is actually a pretty cool band live. I saw them at Rockville. Only a couple songs because I had to go to another stage to go see. I think it might have been Clutch that I was, rushing over to go see because Clutch is awesome. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I get This over the next couple days, I get to see Alter Bridge, Mammoth, Five Finger Death Punch, Pantera, and Metallica twice. Who wants to be me right now, huh? Huh? Because that is awesome. I mean, I'm just thinking about it going, wow, I'm lucky. This is awesome. So 1 week I get to see Zach and a little Tesla headlining. Because a lot of times when I see Tesla down in South Florida, it's usually part of a festival or something like that. It's not headlining. So anyway, so today we got, I got, by the time I got to bed, it was 4 a.m. There was no way I was going to go to practice. And then I have to come do a show. My voice would have been toast. I need to rest. I have to rest. And unfortunately, I couldn't go to practice. I was really looking forward to going to practice today, to be quite honest, because, I love that shit. But there's no way. I got to take care of myself, man. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We do have the skinny on a lot of the stuff that went on, and we're going to have Cameron Wolf, who was there at 3:30. So we'll give you the best coverage like we always do. We give you the best insight on the Dolphins over any national, local, anybody that does coverage of the Dolphins. We smoke everybody. So that's not even the case. So we'll continue to give you the best coverage of the Miami Dolphins on the freaking planet right here on the Big O Radio Show podcast and live show. Manny Navarro will join us at 4 o'clock, so we'll get the latest on the Canes. The Canes have hit the field. It's all good, man. We got real football going on now, so it's awesome. Braylon Sanders, unfortunately, was the real bad news out of it. He was carted off. It looks like a left knee issue, and that sucks. I don't think he was going to make the team anyway. Practice squad, maybe. Something like that. I didn't see him. He's flashed, but this year he is so far behind the group of receivers that they have there. They're so deep at receiver. This will allow him to have another year of development, and so he'll come back next year for camp, and he'll have an opportunity to try to earn a spot, and then hopefully mentally he can mature this year and watch players prepare and continue to learn as a young player. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Peterson he says he's listened to the show in Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Italy, and now Norway. Wow, Jeff, that is awesome. It's 9 p.m. right now in Norway. So, wow. All right, you're 6 hours ahead of us. All right, cool stuff. Hey, Jeff, thank you for the loyalty, man. That means everything. And, it was one of the best things was meeting a lot of you the last few days in Canton and meeting people from all over the world and saying how much they love the show and support Sean and myself. And that is everything, man. Without you guys, there's no way we can make it happen. You know what I mean? So I appreciate all of you that tune in, share the link, hit the like button, make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, all that kind of stuff. So appreciate it. NorCal Dolphin is in. I miss NorCal. I thought I was going to see NorCal out in Canton, man. Thought I was going to be able to give my man NorCal a nice big old hug. Haven't seen him in a while. But NorCal, I missed you out there, brother. I thought for sure you'd be out there. I figured, if Big E is out there and Dolph Freaky is out there, you know what I'm saying? We got some of the Chris Barkers out there. We got Sports Babe 305 or 305 Sports Babe, right? That's how it is. I mean, Ashley is her name, actually. And so, we got all the hardcores out there. We had Finn Nation UK. Martin was out there. We needed you, NorCal, dude. I'm seeing some of the pillars of the fan base out there. You are one of the pillars of the fan base, NorCal. We need you. You're like the one that holds up the west side of the entire platform. So I missed you, buddy. Jose Banos. Jose, you won the tickets. Good for you, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I couldn't go, unfortunately, man. There was no way I was going to show up all messed up and, no way. No way. Just sucked. I was supposed to get here at 9 o'clock at night, not at 4 in the morning. It's like, just sucks, dude. Mr. Blonde reminds us that he just farted. Jay Gelfin is in the house. And yes, you are welcome, Jose. Gus 1388, J-Town, Nyborg, Brian Walters is in. Emilio Hernandez, Mr. Torres, Dude 67, Lisa Rose, Giovanni, Think Dodgers Blue. He's in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. Hot boxing with the AC on for the summer heat. Nice. There you go. Keep hot boxing. That's good. Gary R. Ray Sosa. Let's see. Lenny Pena says, good afternoon, Big O and Sean and the rest of the Finns Nation. Let's get ready for the Samoan Snipers MVP season. I have all the faith in the world that QB1 will be amazing. I agree. Dude 67 says it's 4:20 here. Hit it. Big O, Duck Dog says, you're the man, Big O, a true gamer. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Metallica is at 40 years and still sounds amazing live. Can't say that about most hard rock heavy metal bands. They are the GOATs. Yeah, they are. They do. They do sound great. Although I'll give you, Iron Maiden still sounds great. Rob Halford still can hit the voices, can hit the notes with that voice of his. They still sound great. Klaus Main with the Scorpions still sounds good, and they've been rocking some of these have been rocking even longer than Metallica. So there's still a couple, the singers that took care of themselves are the ones that are still going to sound good. The ones that, trash their voices and their bodies will sound like Vince Neil. So you just can't do anything about that. Darius says he's hitting the lottery tonight. Well, don't forget us, bro. Okay? Make sure you give us a fat cash app, that will set us up here a little bit. Brian Doherty is in, says, Big O, you coming to L.A. for the Chargers game? No, sir. We are doing pre- and post games. We cannot hit the road. We have to make a living. Norcas says, my wife and I had our 21st anniversary. Oh, very nice. Although, celebrating in Canton, a wedding anniversary, no better place. Isaiah's here. Jamesville is in. He says, do you think Dalvin is even going to sign with any team? Yeah, dude, he'll sign. Relax. He'll come here to Miami eventually. It's just he's wasting time and avoiding hits, and he figures he's not the man. Nobody's signing me to be the man. Nobody's offering me money to be the man. So they're offering me money to be part of a rotation. So I'll wait, and I'll be part of a rotation. But I'll wait a couple of weeks and keep my body fresh. I don't need all these camp hits. So maybe he'll sign. Maybe he's going to wait after 2 weeks of the preseason and sign right before the third week of the preseason. So it gives him, a couple of weeks to ramp up. I don't know. But I still think he's coming here when it's all said and done. NorCal says, if I went to Cannes, you'd need to build a room addition in your backyard for me. Happy anniversary, wifey. Hey, I got EJD Construction. They can build that extra, room back there for you, NorCal. I always got you, brother. Brett says, if you get a chance, try the authentic poutine in Montreal, a place like Chez Claudette on St. Catherine, or try the great meat sandwich at Ruben's Deli or Schwartz Deli. Okay? And by the way, anybody got stuff for Quebec? Because I will be in Quebec on Wednesday and Thursday. Montreal Friday, Saturday, Sunday, return Monday. So if anybody has any food places for me in Quebec, please tell me. Okay? So Chez Claudette. I'm writing this down, by the way. Okay? Chez Claudette or St. Catherine. I got to try the poutine because I've never had poutine. Actually, the place, Mike's place that we went to, has poutine, and but I didn't dare try it there. I'm sure it would have been good because that place, all their food is good, man. Ragin is in. Derek Sibley is in. Says, why am I seeing fans worried about what they've seen in camp so far? Derek,
All you ever tell me about is what you're worried about, bro. That's all you ever do, my brother. Every time you send me a text, a tweet, a DM, whatever it is, it's about a complaint or worry about anything. So let me ask you something. What are you worried about that fans are worried about? Think about that one. Why don't you think about what you like and what you don't like, and don't worry about what other people are worried about. See what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, people can have opinions, media people, about what they think the Dolphins or a national person. And in my book, I really don't give a shit what they say. Do you know why? Because I have my own opinion and I follow it. So don't worry about what other people are worried about. People love to complain. That's all they ever do, is complain and bitch. And that's all you people ever respond to, is complaining and bitching. I've noticed this. That's what you people want. You people like to be tortured with negativity. And then you complain about it, but you find yourself watching it over and over again. It's the weirdest thing. It's a masochistic thing about some of you out there that I don't understand. I tell you all the time about Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless, that you idiots out there that listen to those morons, lazy ass hosts. You see what went viral now recently? He put out a list of 20 quarterbacks that can't win the Super Bowl. He had Dwayne Haskins on that list. The man is dead. That tells you all you need. And this is done. Coward's done this several times, where he gets caught with things that are completely off. You know why? It's produced by the producers, because he's a lazy host. But you guys give him national recognition. Constantly lazy, dude. Constantly saying things that are wrong, off, uninformed. And you just tune in the next day, and you tune in and you give the guy the ratings. And God bless him, dude. He's made a killing out of being lazy. It is impressive, dude. It's impressive what Colin Cowherd has done. Okay? Super impressive what he's done, because he is clueless as hell and is carried by his producers. And if his producers screw up like they did today, and he just repeats it because he doesn't really think for himself. He acts like it. He gives you the bullshit. And good job by him, dude, because he suckers a whole bunch of you people. It's amazing to me. It really is, dude. But you love it. You want to hear the person that is constantly complaining about something and never has anything good to say. You want to hear the person that's constantly ripping into people. And if they're wrong, like, Stephen A doesn't know anything about football. He's been busted over and over again saying stupid shit that, players that aren't even in the league, or players that aren't even playing, or players that are injured. And he's talking about them like they're on the field. I mean, he has said shit that he gets busted over, and then you keep watching. Like, they have no credibility, but you keep watching. It's really your fault. That's why these people exist. NorCal says it's always 420 at his house. R. Castell says Tua dropping dimes. Jeez, I'm not worried about Tua. Is Omar Kelly not doing any segments on the show? Jamesville. Dude, do you watch the show every day? Because we've talked about this over and over. I can tell the people that really don't watch the show. I can tell the people that don't watch it every day, because we've talked about this over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? I can tell you get exposed to me right away. I know when you're really not doing it often. This is, some guy sent me a text. I didn't even bother answering him. Omar hasn't been on for 2 months. He goes, "Hey, where's Omar? I really missed a segment." You really missed it? Dude, he hasn't been on for 2 months. How much do you really love the segment? Anyway,
What about Noah? I'll see. Wait till I get to like real games. He's made a couple plays. Doesn't mean anything to me. Let's get to the preseason games and we'll see if we see something. How is I just can't get pumped up about Noah. God bless him. He's working hard. He's a great kid. I root for him because he's a good human being. But I've seen this story before where he makes a couple of plays and then when he's out there somewhere, he really gets burned and looks lost. So let's see in the preseason because he's going to get a lot of play in the preseason because you're not going to really play your starters that much. Yeah, I know the man is dead, right, Brian? So Flaudon is in. Jonathan Wilkerson. Derek Sibley says the only thing I'm worried about is Liam and AJ as usual. You should be, and neither one should be starting. As I've said, Kendall Lamb should be your right tackle, and Isaiah Wynn should be your left guard. Okay, so that's what it looks like to me. Let's see. Big O in Quebec City tried to visit the old city area, very Parisian influenced, and great old building architecture and old school restaurants. The torteri meat pies are exquisite. Okay, so what was the name of that restaurant again? The torteri meat pies. Okay. Oh, that's what they're called? Okay, so I see. Okay, so the torteri are the meat pies. Okay. So it's Parisian, huh? All right. We shall check it out. Big O, does Portland not trade Dame out of... No, dude, they'll trade him, bro. They have his replacement there. They don't want all that uncomfortableness for Scoot. They'll trade him. They're just pissed that they have nowhere to go. And Dame is... And it's their own fault. They had Dame for 11 years. They couldn't build it. Now it's Dame's turn to put the screws to them. And that's what he's doing. Relax, bro. He'll come here. It'll all eventually happen mid-September to late September, right before camp. Before the crap really hits the fan, Quebec. Portland doesn't want this. Doesn't want Dame to go to camp, dude. They don't want any of that. So, Chris Wilson Fishing is in. Jeff Peterson. Samuel Rosa says he doesn't listen to those clowns. And Giovanni goes, hey, where's Omar Kelly? LOL. But I know Giovanni listens every day. So I know he knows because he listens every day. So he knows exactly what went on. Chad is in the house. Let's see. Geez, dude, he's everywhere but here. He's with Poupard and Dudley Do-Wrong. Pretty soon he'll be on TD's show, LOL. Who's that? I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. Love collecting over $1,000 for betting with the wins over this year for the Finns. Yep. Took a bit of break from football. What did happen? Well, you have to go back and look. We don't repeat segments here. I'm turning 40 this year. Finally going to get my ultimate B-Day present, Dolphins Super Bowl. Yes, sir, James. You're going to get that. I watch a lot more clips than live shows. Sorry. That's fine. You can watch whatever you want. It's all good. I just don't feel like repeating shit over and over again. I mean, have you not learned that for after a while? Has anybody not learned that I don't like repeating? Like, I'm not a fan of it. I said it already. We move on. And I said it a couple times. We move on. Simple. Ask somebody. They'll tell you. I don't give a shit, dude. I really don't. Catch up. Listen to the show. You know? I'm not here to be your update guy every minute of every day because you didn't listen. Don't care, to be quite honest. Got it? Anyway, let's see what we got. Practice today. Waddle still dropping a couple passes. Braylon Sanders injured left knee. Falcons, by the way, apparently lost their DB Clark Phillips. He was carted off the field.
Ramsey seen at practice without a brace or a sleeve, so he's making progress. Trill Williams cleared for practice. No red jersey. Brandon Jones still has a red jersey. Very interesting with Brandon Jones. Why? He has lost a job. Yeah, Brandon Jones was already going to be at risk in Fangio's defense because you have to be really good at coverage. And he was getting better last year. Got to give him props on that. But he still hasn't come back to form yet, and he's not ready to go full out. Well, Elijah Campbell has just been improving since last year. And this year has kind of taken a step forward. Today, he pretty much had a sack. Was it a sack? No, he pass breakup, I think it was. Right. He had a pass breakup today. He has played well throughout training camp, has shown good coverage skills. Okay. We all know he helps out on special teams, so he's a dual threat in that sense. Well, they probably may want to, develop somebody else in the process. But Campbell is one guy that is kind of, it's like Brandon Peely. You need some depth at defensive tackle. The USC defensive tackle, he had a sack today. He had 2 tackles for losses. He's another one of those names, Elijah Campbell, Brandon Peely. These are some of these names that are kind of, lifting themselves right now and kind of coming to the forefront. So don't be shocked that the guy that's going to be sitting next to the all-world safety that you do have in Javon Holland looks like it might be Elijah Campbell, because to me it looks like he's the guy that's really like taking a step forward to become the other safety, the other starting safety for this team. So congratulations to Elijah Campbell. He is doing some stuff. He's got another day tomorrow against the Falcons, and then he's got the game. These are his opportunities now to kind of shine, and he's done a really good job overall in practice since training camp started. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Brandon Peely from USC. He continues, like I just told you, to shine. He's another guy that's making some waves. It's great to see that Trill Williams was cleared for practice. So let's see where he's at over the next week or two. Can't get into it too early right now with him. What else do we have? Jalen Phillips had a couple of sacks today. I don't think anybody is surprised with that. Tua was pretty sharp overall. By the way, Mike White has kind of separated himself from Skyler. Okay, so while the thought during mini camps and early on that Skyler may be the lead guy, I got to say, from the moment the crowds came to the practice facility last week for the first time, from that moment on, Mike White has outplayed Skylar Thompson. And he outplayed him again today. So now you've got kind of, when the crap hits the fan, and now, so maybe Mike White, it's kind of like, Rob Hunt had a really good day today. And Rob Hunt maybe, like people were talking already that he wasn't as consistent the last couple of days. That might be all the monotony that he's done this before and he's kind of bored with the process. And then he sees a fresh face and somebody that he doesn't know, and it's another team. So Rob Hunt all of a sudden can take it out on him, and he went and had a hell of a day today. Probably his best practice of all of training camp, because all of training camp, he hasn't necessarily been Rob Hunt. Put it that way. Let's put it that way. And today he was Rob Hunt. So there might be a little bit of, hey, the lights went on. Let me go shine, that kind of stuff. And so Mike White, some people say he's not a great practice player. I don't know, but he wasn't impressive early on. And since you all showed up, okay, since there was a crowd in the stands, Mike White has been the better quarterback out of the two guys. So you got to call it like you see it, man. And it is what it is right now. Give the man credit when he deserves it. Okay. A couple things. Let's start off with a couple things. Miami Dolphins. Oh, by the way, do we have anybody ready to go? Yeah, 3:30.
Send him a reminder. All right, so let me get to first one Dolphin topic that I get a little disappointed with some people in the media overall and the overreaction. And maybe some of them haven't been in this business in a long time. The depth charts. A depth chart in early August means absolutely nothing. You got to stop overreacting on depth charts. Right now, they're experimenting. Right now, they're moving people around. Right now, they're playing mental games with people. Some guy that they think has it but hasn't shown it. Well, we'll move this guy ahead of him just for the hell of it this week to light a fire under him. But they know who the real starter is going to be when it's all said and done. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going on. I'm just saying it could be that. It could be that you're just moving things around. To me, I find it funny as a guy that's covered the NFL for 30 years and covered the Dolphins for 30 years. I find it hilarious when media members are going crazy about depth charts or overreacting to depth charts in early August. None of it means anything. So if anybody's on television telling you and overreacting about a depth chart, or they're on local television or local radio, or they're writing and they're overreacting about a depth chart on August 8th, I just want you to know that that media member is not very experienced or not very bright. Okay? Depth charts mean nothing right now. It's a tool that coaches may use to play games with their players, maybe. But they're not playing games with the media or the fans. It's a tool that they might use to experiment, to use one guy because they want to see, like for example, on this team, left guard and right tackle could be a question mark, right? So you might have different people from one week to another. And it might not mean anything whatsoever. It just might mean what some of the local guys do, it's stock up or stock down or whatever. But it's really, there's no concrete anything to a depth chart in early August. Okay? It's just a way to create drama. It's just a way to write a story or tell you something and try to bring some kind of, I don't know, dramatics to the whole situation, basically, for lack of a better term. It's sad, but I just want you to know, do not overreact on depth charts at this point in time. They mean nothing. All right, it is time to unleash the wolf pack.
We unleash the wolf pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Oh, what's up, man?
Dude, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm finally inside in the AC. Today had to be the hottest day of all the days. I know every day is hot, but today felt like the hottest
I really
day.
wanted to be out there, dude, but man, I had 6 delays from freaking Canton, bro. I was like, at 2:38, I'm sitting there waiting for my luggage to come on the carousel. It's just, by the time I got into bed, it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, yeah. I'm not doing practice, and then I got to do a couple hours of talk. Now I'm not doing that, and I fly out to Montreal. And I fly out to Montreal tomorrow morning. So it's like,
you got to take care of your body, man. That's too much.
It's too much.
But I'm telling you, man, we live in South Florida, so we're used to it. But today was hot, and you realize Miami Heat is different because all the Atlanta folks are in town. And I talked to a couple of Atlanta Falcons players that I know afterwards, and the first thing they all said to me was like, "Dude, it's like this every day." And I'm like, "Yeah, Miami Heat is definitely different."
And it's hot in Atlanta.
It's hot in Atlanta, and
it's hot in Atlanta.
And they
Okay.
have humidity too.
Yes.
But it's just not the same level. It's the level of humidity that is just different. And I told Atlanta folks, I'm like, the biggest thing I think that's different about Miami is that like 8 a.m. it is going to be hot and humid. Other places you may have a cool morning, it may be 60 degrees in the morning, and then it'll warm up to 90 or 100. Miami's already starting at 80. You know, you're already there. There's no break. And even at night, we can go out at 11 o'clock at night, it's still going to be 80. You know, and it's so thick, it's so humid. The temperature may say 90, but it feels like maybe 105, right?
You got to remember, we're surrounded by ocean. We're a peninsula.
Yep.
We have swamps, okay?
Yep.
We have swamps. Not everybody has swamps. We have oceans, swamps. We're on coral. So we don't have a ton of dirt. So, you know, like when you go to Cleveland, where I was, it rains, the land absorbs it all and it goes away.
Right.
For us, it stays there. Our ground stays saturated. Our rivers, our lakes, our swamps, our oceans, brother. And then you've got all this heat on top of you. It all just bubbles up, and that's why we're worse than pretty much everybody else because of all these situations. You know, so
it's a lot. It's a lot. But here's what I will tell you.
Yeah.
Even through the summer, which is obviously our worst season to live here, I still would pick Miami over pretty much everywhere else in the U.S. and living. There's maybe 2 or 3 cities, 2 or 3 areas, maybe that's more as far as weather. Otherwise, the winters to me make up for the summers. If that
before it went to shit, San Francisco was my spot.
Yeah, San Fran is like Cali's got an ideal temperature because it's warm, but it still has the cold mornings and evenings, and you still get a little bit of winter. So Cali, pretty much any area in Cali probably has it beat. But I've always been I would rather have the humidity than the dry heat. I know some people are the opposite. Some people love the dry heat. They can't deal with the sweat. For me, I want to know I'm hot. I don't want to just be like dying of thirst and not know because I'm not sweating. And it's so hot out here because I don't have any liquid left in my body. And I don't like to feel like I'm putting lotion on 24/7, which is what happens when I'm in like Arizona or Vegas or something.
Yeah, I love Northern California. I lived there for a short time. I lived there a long time ago, 26 years ago, when it was actually a decent place to live. Now it's just absolutely terrible to live in that place, unfortunately. But they do have the weather, and that part of the country is beautiful, dude.
Yeah,
it really is, brother. All right, Cam, do you laugh also at people that overreact with depth charts in early August?
I didn't even post the depth chart. I looked at it briefly.
But you're a veteran. But
I very much
people that overreact on this shit, dude. It's
I liked Mike McDaniel's quote that depth charts are my nemesis. That's what he said today. Which preseason depth charts, what he said. Preseason depth charts or training camp depth chart, whatever he described it as, are my nemesis. A lot of times, first of all, they always.
By the way, Cam, explain to people if Mike McDaniel had a choice. Would he even put a depth chart out?
No. You put out the depth charts because you're required. It's required by the league at this time period. Everybody put it out at the same time, which is the last day they could possibly put it out without the NFL saying something. And to be honest, and I'm not sure if this is the case for the Dolphins, most times the PR department puts out the depth chart. It's the PR department putting out what their vibes are. Sometimes they'll check in with the coaches. A lot of times they'll put the rookies lower than the rookies are supposed to go because they're rookies. You don't want to get them too big-headed. And so, like, for example, I didn't see the Falcons depth chart, but if Bijan Robinson is anything other than starting running back, it's a bold-faced lie because I've seen every practice they've been out there. He is a starter, right? And so a lot of times teams will say, hey, a clear starter is your number 3. Or they'll have a quote-unquote quarterback battle that they're saying because they don't want to decide that it's over yet. A lot of that stuff happens. I don't take too much stock in it. I think more than anything, it lets you know where they see groupings of players. Like I thought it was interesting that Christian Wilkins was noted as a defensive end and not a defensive tackle. To me, something like that is like maybe somewhat notable. I think most people knew that you're going a little bit more to a traditional 3-4 scheme, but they view him strictly more as a 3-4 defensive end rather than a defensive tackle. Something like that is notable to me where they are as far as spot in the depth chart, that doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Yeah, no, and to me, I kind of laugh at it, and then I actually kind of lose respect for a media member that thinks it's actually something serious.
So I've actually
Wrong.
seen times where there has been a depth chart release before a third preseason game, and the guy who was quote unquote the number one starter got cut, and a guy who was on the fourth team made the roster.
Right.
And so, obviously money, different things have a factor, but if your first team is missing the team and your fourth team is making the team, clearly those depth charts are not in line with what you view as the structure of your team.
All right, let's go over a couple things. Has Elijah Campbell gotten the closest to anybody else to becoming the second safety as a starter? Because Brandon Jones still hasn't cleared that red jersey, and Elijah Campbell is only gotten better and making more plays in this training camp than he ever has.
Yeah, so Elijah's played very well. And I think one of the quietly disturbing elements of camp is that there hasn't been an established guy to separate themselves as a second safety. And there's still some questions in my mind about the depth of that spot opposite Javon Holland. I think there was a lot of hope that Brandon Jones would come back fully healthy and kill it. And there's still time. The season hasn't started, but we have not seen that old Brandon Jones yet. He's just starting to get back on the field in full drills. And today he even admitted he does not feel the same speed and explosiveness as he normally feels. And he got to play earlier today, and he's coming off a serious injury. And so that's to be expected, but we're 1 month away from the season. And so if he doesn't get that back, you don't have your incumbent as your starter. Are you comfortable with Deshaun Elliott? Deshaun Elliott's had an okay camp. I wouldn't say that he's been anything.
Campbell's a guy.
Stretch. Campbell's a guy. I think they would want to feel comfortable with another guy or one of those guys that play a little better. And so that's why you see a guy like Elijah Campbell, because he's fully healthy and he's playing decent. Like I don't think you want Elijah.
By the way, he had his moments last year too.
Yes, he did. He did. And I think the full switch to safety helps him. There are some guys that need to be in a certain room. I know they were playing Elijah Campbell in sort of a hybrid role where he might play a little bit of corner, he may play a little safety. Sometimes you just need to put a guy in a room and tell him, you're a safety, go gain this amount of pounds and focus strictly in safety rooms. And I think you're seeing a guy who is probably went from, I don't know if he's going to make the team, to he could have a role and playing time on this defense. And so I think that's how significant his camp has been so far. And you got guys like Brandon Jones who you need to see more of, and Trill Williams as well, who I think a lot of fans love Trill. But the reality is we have not seen Trill come as much coming back from injury. And I thought we would see more of him at this stage. We haven't. And so if he is not ready to play in some preseason game, play in the practice, I don't know how you can trust him to be a key backup on your team. So I think there's some depth question marks, definitely a safety, but Elijah Campbell's been one of the pluses.
What did you see on the offensive line? Because I kind of feel that maybe even after this game this week, I think there's going to be some shakeup or some, because I just don't feel that Liam and Jackson have done enough. I think there's too much inconsistency for me. I think you got to go Lamb right tackle and move Wynn over to left guard. But your thoughts on what you've seen from Eichenberg and Jackson and what you're seeing from some of the other guys?
Yeah, so I tweeted a little bit about this, but I don't pick winners or losers for joint practices. But one thing that stood out to me today, I was watching mostly the Dolphins offense versus the Falcons defense. The Falcons were more physical, particularly in the trenches. They won a lot of those battles. And I think I told you before the last time we chatted, the biggest thing I wanted to see was how the Dolphins offensive line responded to the Falcons defensive front, because Grady Jarrett's a really good player.
Yep.
But this front as a whole is not considered an elite by any stretch of the imagination. They have David Garrett, Grady Jarrett. They signed David Onyemata from the Saints, who's a good player. But this is probably, I think they've elevated from one of the worst fronts to maybe an average front. The Dolphins lost today, and we got another day tomorrow. But in the defensive line of the Falcons beat up on the Dolphins offensive line today, and it's concerning. It's concerning. Obviously, no Teron Armstead today. He had just did the individual drills. He didn't do a lot in team drills. Mike McDaniel indicated we'll see Teron tomorrow in team drills, and so I'm eager to see how his impact will help the O-line in general. But there's still questions at 74. Liam Eichenberg is a question. I'm not sure if I feel he's going to be a starter, and I definitely don't feel comfortable if he is the starter. Austin Jackson, same thing. Austin Jackson has had an up and down camp. There's been some spurts where he's looked really good. And then
the problem is when he looks bad, brother.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Right. And he protects Tua's blind side. That's the reality of it.
And it looks so much like what's the name of the dude that got Tua's ribs killed? Jesse Davis.
Got you.
When he whiffs Jesse Davis like. And that, like last week, I saw him whiff on back-to-back plays by Phillips and Agba. And I know it's Phillips and Agba, but dude, that's what you're going to face throughout the year. And they ran by him like he was a cigar store mannequin. You're like, bro, you can't have those kind of plays, and it's just and that's his problem, because there are moments where he'll pancake a guy, and you're like, whoa, nice job, Austin. And then there are these moments that you're like, oh, dude, you're going to get somebody killed for doing that. And I think that's been Austin's problem.
Absolutely. I think he's definitely looked physically stronger, but very much there's still questions I would have if you're playing an elite pass rusher. I do not feel comfortable with Austin Jackson out there. You're going to have to send help his way probably all game, and that influences how you change your scheme. The problem is everybody needs a right tackle. So I'm not sure there's a fixed option. Yes, you could put a Kendall Lamb in there. Yeah, you could see if Isaiah Wynn can play there, but I'm not sure if any of those answers are all of a sudden turning around the offensive line. And so I think
Wynn had a couple moments today, right? I thought he played.
Wynn did, but he can't fill all the roles right now. He's getting a lot of reps.
I'd put him at left guard right now and put.
That's what I'm saying. So right now you're getting a lot of you're having a competition at left guard, and so if Wynn wins the competition at left guard, well, then Austin's probably going to have to be your right tackle. I haven't seen enough that they're actually considering starting Kendall Lamb over Austin Jackson.
No, I know, because they're practicing. You're right, because they're practicing him more on the left side. Now he has played right tackle.
Yes.
And to me, what I've seen from left tackle from him, he's done a pretty good job overall. So I kind of like
Kendall Lamb a lot better at left tackle than Cedric Aboye. I think is how you pronounce his name. I don't want to see Cedric. So no offense to Cedric, but I don't want to see a lot of Cedric at left tackle this year. No, I don't.
No, I'm with you. I don't want to see.
Yeah, so I would rather see Kendall Lamb there. And the reality is Teron, who when healthy is by far the best offensive lineman on the team, has not consistently stayed healthy. So you need it's a very valuable spot to have a third tackle who can play left tackle as well as right tackle. And I think Kendall Lamb is showing that he can be that guy the same way Brandon Shell was that guy for right tackle. Maybe Kendall Lamb can be that guy for both spots, which would be a very important role that I wasn't sure the Dolphins had a month ago. The right tackle spot, the starting right tackle spot is another issue. And so every team, there's very few teams that feel great about their offensive line. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. That's probably it. Every other team's fan base is going to have some type of questions.
Well, the entire division, the entire AFC East has problems on the offensive line.
So that's not a foreign issue.
They're all hurting in at least two spots, every one of those teams. Actually.
Absolutely. So it's not a foreign issue for the Dolphins. Now your hope is that better running and the offensive line plays a bigger role in that, helps you, and that you're able to get the ball out quick out of your hands, which they've been doing. You hope that offsets some of the issues, but there certainly are issues. And to me, offensive line is my biggest offensive concern at this stage.
How concerned should we be that Jalen Waddle continues to drop passes?
Definitely. I would say a mild to moderate level concern. Like Jalen Waddle is still one of the best receivers in football.
We know all of that. We know all of it.
But the issue last year was the drops. And he's had some drops in camp. I counted at least 2 today. And so he's had some drops, and it is concerning if the issue is not fixed. Now, I will say it's just training camp, so I'm not going to overreact and say, hey, the drops are still here. We're going to see what he does in the regular season, but you got to catch the ball. I mean, there's going to be plays down the field that Jalen Waddle can win or lose the game based on where he catches the ball. And so you need him to be everything that he was last year and maybe a little bit more. And that comes with more consistency with your hands. He's talked about getting stronger this offseason, and he does look stronger. But I think the biggest thing that I want to see improvement-wise from Jalen is the concentration. I think he is a little bit naturally a little bit of a body catcher rather than a hands catcher, which is fine.
Which is very that's
it's not great. It's not great, but I'll tell you this. But I'll tell you this: not every great receiver is a hands catcher. As much as they tell you this, not every great receiver is a hands catcher. Heck, Tyreek sometimes it can be a body catcher. He's more consistent with his hands than Jalen, but at times he can be a body catcher, especially when you're running in stride. It's an easier way to catch the ball. So I don't know that you're going to all of a sudden change Jalen from what he naturally does to catch every pass with your hands. But I do think that concentration plays a factor. He's got to concentrate a little bit more. I don't know if it's a vision thing. I do know he wears different lenses to help him with the sun. And so that's something where Jalen's got to get better. I don't remember what the number was last year, but I definitely know it was more than 5 drops. And so,
dude, in one game he had 2 and he cost them a game last year.
Right.
He literally cost them a game all by himself with 2 mistakes that he made. And so that's why I say that I know he's elite. I know he's a top level wide receiver, but he has one brain fart in his game. And guess what? Elite receivers don't drop balls.
Yeah. That's the next level.
If you want to be elite receiver, you don't drop passes. Yeah. And so
they do drop passes. You do not drop passes to that level.
That's my point. That's of course everybody's a human being.
Everybody's going to drop a pass or 2, but having 2 or 3 drops a season is different than having 7, 8.
One a game. One a game. Yeah. One a game, dude. Go back and look at it. It's practically 1 a game he has.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
Go look at it.
And I do remember the fumble that he had trying to do a little too much. I can't remember who he's playing, but over the middle. And so, these are mistakes.
He has 8 and 7 the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah. That's too many. He's got to drop that number under 5. To me, if you cut that number in half and you're more in the 3 to 4 drop range, that to me is a lot more reasonable.
And it better be 3 or 4 balls that don't matter. It can't be 3 or 4 balls that are in the end zone or a game winner or something like that. You can have 3 or 4, but they better be 3 or 4 that aren't really that big. But if they're like game changers, like I told you with those 2 in one game, you can't do that, bro.
Absolutely. But what I will say is Jalen cares about this, man. I see him on a jug machine.
Oh, no. Dude, there's nothing wrong with the guy. The guy is phenomenal. Everything is great with him.
Yeah.
He's just got one wart.
Right. And to be honest, he's got a lot of pros, but that wart is a big wart at receiver. It's a receiver. Your job is to catch. And so the speed and all those things are great, but he's got to catch more consistently. It's kind of like, you got a big, I'm a baseball guy. You got a big home run hitter, and he hits a lot of home runs, but he might strike out a lot. You got to decrease those strikeouts. We still love the home runs. You're giving us 40 home runs a year. You're one of our best players. You're one of our best hitters. I just need to, let's just be a little higher with the average. Let's cut down. Let's give me like 10, 20 less strikeouts a season. Give me like 3 or 4 less drops a season. And then we elevate you from a all-star to an MVP caliber player, That's kind of how I view it.
All right, let's wrap it up with this quickly. Mike White was falling behind Skyler when there was nobody at camp, just media members. So apparently Mike White doesn't like us. But all of a sudden, since the fans showed up, since last week, since the first group of fans came in, Mike White has severely outplayed Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
I haven't been here every day, but the days I have been here, Mike's definitely played a lot better. And that makes sense because
he did today, right? And he did today.
So I wouldn't say he did today. I would say that I would probably say all the quarterbacks struggled to an extent. Tua was okay. He had some nice throws, but he also threw a bad pick six, where the linebacker just jumped his route. Mike White threw a pick as well, and he was okay. He had a few other passes, but I wouldn't say this was a good Mike White day. And Skyler, who actually got very little snaps, threw a pick. I think he only threw 3 passes in team drills, and he threw a pick in those routes too. So I wasn't impressed with any of the quarterbacks today, but I will say that
overall, it's not. But the question is overall.
But yes, that's what I'm saying. Mike White, before today, Mike White definitely looked like a lot closer to what the Dolphins thought they were getting when they signed him, which makes sense. His knock on the scouting report on him is that he's a gamer. He shows up when games are happening.
That's why I brought it up.
When the crowd's here, when you got officials, when you got a little bit more of a game-like atmosphere, it makes sense that Mike White would start to look more.
I've been to most of the practices. I know missed today, but when with the crowds there, I gotta give it to Mike White, bro. And I'm not the Mike White guy. I'm not the guy that brags about Mike White. I really haven't been overall impressed with Mike White and his game and his stats, to be quite honest. And I thought Skyler really had a shot. But I gotta give you gotta call things the way they are. And right now, Mike White has pulled away from him, I think, a little bit here as the number 2 guy. It's just that's what I'm seeing, at least.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, what do you got going on?
Which is good. The Dolphins want Mike White. They paid him $5 million. The Dolphins want Mike White to earn his $5 million to be the backup. Skylar Thompson's a good 7th round pick, but I think they would rather have the experience of Mike White if they needed him for a game or two with Tua going down. So
it wouldn't be a good look for them if Skyler ends up. I mean, it's still their draft pick, but you kind of brought Mike White in because you thought the experience would make him the number 2 guy. So we'll see. What do you got going on the NFL Network so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. NFL Network tomorrow, we will actually be live from Dolphins training camp. So we aren't hosting like we did the first week, but they'll come out to us frequently. And so me and Charles Davis, who's a pros pro, will be there talking ball. And so we'll be there starting at 9. We'll be there probably starting at 8 a.m. We're on TV and GMFB, the last hour of GMFB, the 9 o'clock hour. And then our show runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so we'll be on for 4 hours. And so we'll be doing that, talking a lot of Dolphins, Falcons joint practices. We'll have a few interviews. I know the Falcons have confirmed that we're going to have Desmond Ridder and Cordero Patterson. I still got to get the Dolphins list from us. We've been here a couple times, so it won't be any repeats. So it won't be Tua, but maybe we get a couple other guys that you guys want to hear from, and we'll interview them after practice. And that'll be it. So big Dolphins Day on NFL Network tomorrow, and then I head on the road. I'm actually got a flight at 5:45 tomorrow, talking about travel. Finish up at 2 p.m. at practice, and then a 5:45 flight out of MIA to fly to Charlotte because I'll be checking out Bryce Young and the Panthers joint practice with the Jets. So I'll see them on Thursday, the Panthers and the Jets. I'll report back how the Jets look and the Panthers, but I know you guys care more about the Jets. And then I'll be there through the preseason game Saturday. They play Bryce Young should play on Saturday, so we'll see some Bryce versus the Jets. So I'll do that, and then I'll be back here in town, and I'll probably be here a good bit over the next week or two after that.
Well, you're in good hands working with Charles Davis. He is as one of the classiest human beings you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
On the face of Mother Earth, my brother.
Absolutely. Great dude, and he knows his stuff. Charles hasn't been here in practice, but I bet you he'll educate some people on some stuff about the Dolphins just popping up. That's just the type of dude he is. So
money. Great human being, bro. Love Charles Davis. And love Cameron Wolf. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Cam, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir. We will try. KSDT CPAs, baby. Offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. We're opening up one also in North Carolina. And when it comes to KSDT, use that QR code right there, folks. If you need to do your taxes for business, or if you just need help with your business, you need to assess the value of your business, you need to maybe go over some of the things you want to plan from payroll, anything else that you need to do, they can help you, folks, from insurance, everything. They really can help you and your business grow in so many different ways. So please call our friends at KSDT CPAs, 305-670-3370, top 200 firm by Forbes, tax firm and accounting firm in the country, KSDT CPAs.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
We are back, baby, coming to you live from Hialeah Park. And don't forget, man, call my friends at EJD Construction, Eric and the great people at EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. They do it all. They're fully insured. I always tell you this all the time. That's why we talk about Cutter's Edge Pro or EJD Construction. You will not be on our platform as a sponsor if you're not fully insured, because that's how you end up screwing the customer over. And EJD Construction, fully insured. They're not picking up a couple dudes at Home Depot and then showing up at your house. No. They're professionals. Everybody's insured. So if anybody gets injured on your property, you're not going to get sued. That's what happens when they're not insured. You're the one that gets sued. So call the great people at EJD Construction. I'm telling you, whatever it is you need, custom home construction, major home remodeling, Dade or Broward counties only. 305-433-4843. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little Canes football with the one and only Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Only Manny Navarro in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report. Don't forget, go to caneswear.com. Order over $99. You will get free shipping. So let me ask you something, Manny. Is Stanford and Cal coming to the ACC? That's some crazy-ass story right there, brother. Not that would do anything whatsoever for this conference, but talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, look, part of doing your job is pretending that you're doing your job, right? That showing people that you're actually working and trying to look for solutions. I think some of the best bosses ever look like they're always busy. I think that's what the ACC is doing here. They're trying to show effort to, the constituents that are in the league right now. Hey, we're turning over every stone, trying to find any possible way to bring in more revenue for you to make this league stronger. I also think they're probably doing a little bit of Plan B planning, right? Like, what happens if Clemson and Florida State decide to book and head out and go somewhere else? So, there's a reason for all of this. It's not coming out of anywhere. Last year when USC and UCLA announced they were going to the Big Ten, I had 3 administrators in the ACC tell me, well, Stanford and Cal would be interesting additions if the Pac-12 falls apart. So it's not coming out of left field. This is something that I think they've kicked around because of the fact that they're academic fits for the ACC, and they're in the San Francisco market, which is one of the stronger TV markets. Now, is it feasible? Is it smart? Is it all these other things? No. Who the hell wants to play 2 teams in California and travel out there for a bunch of different sports? Nobody. But is it a desperation move? Could it be something that helps fill a void for the ACC, depending on other potential problems here? Yes, I think it's not crazy in today's age of college football, where Rutgers.
Now it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason. There's no what's that called? The area type of importance to it, or rivalry, or anything like that. None of that matters anymore. It's all about money. But by the way, nobody from here wants to fly over there, but for those two teams, it'll be hell because they got to fly over here for everything, dude.
Well, I would say it's
huge disadvantage.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it's the same deal for the four West Coast teams that are in the Big Ten now. It's so they have two more teams than Stanford and Cal would be. If they end up joining these, it's still you only play 3 games on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be like all of a sudden, wow, it's such a huge difference. Right. The smart thing here would have been for the ACC to be more aggressive with the Pac-12 2 or 3 years ago and try to get 6 to 8 teams.
Right, that's what it is. You should have done this 3-4 years ago. You should have started to grow your conference, and now it's too late. Now everything's dried up.
Right. Now the Big Ten and the SEC have made all the moves and they've positioned themselves, and it's sad. It's sad for those of us who have seen college football sort of deteriorate as they keep trying to pursue more playoffs, more money, all these things. It's certainly not good for the athletes. And what I've said, I mean, I've been part of several panels here with The Athletic. We've had these live room chats where a lot of fans, from the West Coast and Pac-12 get on there and they're crying and they're upset. I've said this to them. I said, the suffering hasn't begun yet. Like, think about it. UCLA and USC are still playing their final season in the Pac-12. Like, the Pac-12 has one more season to go. To the point yet where every softball player and every baseball player and every track and field athlete and every bitching constantly because of what they're being put through. We haven't gotten to that point yet. When we get to that point is when I think a lot of people in sports are going to say, yeah, we made a mistake here. We need to change this, and football has to be its own separate entity from these other sports, and we have to package this in a different way. But I don't think, the suffering will be for a while because these TV deals don't run out until 2030 and 2032.
Wow. And so is FSU really going to get the hell out of here?
I think they really believe so. The people I've spoken to in Tallahassee, I think they really feel confident that they'll figure out a way out of the grant of rights agreement. They'll pay the $120 million buyout. They'll find people to help finance this. They believe that in Tallahassee, and I think they have a spot in the Big Ten. I'm sure that there's probably been conversations saying, hey, you can come up here and join this conference. I know a lot of people look at the Big Ten. It's been an academic conference for a long time. 17 of the 18 schools, including the new ones that they just added from the Pac-12, are AAU schools, which means they're big-time research universities, accredited. Florida State is not one of those. I don't think Clemson is either. Miami is. But again, we've reached an age where this is about eyeballs and TV dollars. And so I think Florida State is confident that, if they don't leave, and I don't think they're going to leave by the August 15th deadline. They have basically a week to sort of put their notice in if they're going to leave after the 24 season, or before the 24 season. So I think this will stretch into 2025. I think Florida State's going to go through the process of litigation, everything else it needs to do, and then they'll probably try to move out for 2025.
Is Clemson going to do the same thing?
That's the interesting one, because Clemson has not sort of pounded their chest the way Florida State has in any sort of public setting whatsoever. We've not heard it from Dabo Swinney. We've not heard it from their athletic director. Florida State's taken the opposite approach and been really vocal. I'm very interested to see. I think Clemson's supposed to have a Board of Trustees meeting today. I don't know that any of that stuff is going to be viewed live. They're not going to carry it on YouTube. They're not going to have Deshaun Watson, come on and make comments about how bad they need to leave. But it will be interesting to see what sort of sprinkles out of that conversation and how strongly Clemson really wants to go. I know my last conversation with people at the University of Miami was, yeah, it sucks. We're in the third best conference in terms of TV dollars, but the ACC is still a very good conference. We still like where we are. I think Florida State is the one school being really out front and aggressive about wanting out.
And by the way, just remind the Miami fans, unless John Reeves wants to write a big fat ass check, there's no shot Miami's buying their way out.
I mean, you can never say never. We don't know ultimately what ESPN and Fox and the major TV networks will agree to. They're the ones controlling all this, Orlando. I mean, they just I look at this situation and I say Disney is struggling financially right now, right? Maybe they'll be okay with sort of reaching a deal where they let teams leave and say, okay, Fox, you pay for this. I don't know legally where we're headed with all of this.
What you and I don't know is what profitability is there in the ACC deal, and
Right.
if there is fat ass profitability, they're not going to let them out.
No,
Well,
correct.
If
and
they're
I've
losing their ass or maybe barely breaking even, ESPN doesn't have the money anymore.
Right.
They've been set adrift
Right.
from Disney, and Disney set ABC adrift. So now they're all separate islands, and they can't depend on Disney anymore for money. So that's where things are going to. That's why all these cuts are coming with ESPN, because they don't have the money to spend like they used to.
No, and I think it's sort of an example of our economy here in the country, right? Where people just overspend and keep the costs keep rising, and then you get to a certain point where, hey, you can't pay the bill. So,
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. Though. I personally think at a certain point, and I don't know when, like I said, maybe it's after the suffering, after we hear all these kids in all these sports complaining in 2030, after we go through this gigantic circus of, paying for these TV rights, that, at some point, everybody just decides, yeah, we got to go back to the old way. But right now we're headed towards it full speed ahead.
All right, so Cam's going. What do you got? What do you got for us? Give me some good news on the O-line.
Well, listen, they look great in shorts. They look good in stretching. They look fabulous all the time in shorts. Nobody's gotten hurt yet that I know of. All of this stuff. Oh, you know how it is doing the Dolphins. Like, you guys get to go out there and see stuff. You can see position battles. You can't necessarily report about it, right? You can't share depth charts. Whatever is being viewed at Miami is nothing significant. None of the reporters are getting a chance to watch Tyler Van Dyke throw with pressure in his face. Nobody's getting a chance to watch whether or not Colby Young holds onto a ball, on deep throws beyond whatever the kind of silly 7-on-7 work that they're doing.
Or in traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of this,
what
hey.
are you hearing? Come on, you once in a while hear
Well, what am I hearing? I think it's the same thing. Coaches are enthusiastic. They're excited. They think they're in a better scheme. They think they've got better players. They think there's better talent around. But I don't think anybody's sitting around there saying, "Man, we're going to beat Clemson and Florida State." I don't think anybody's delusional in that regard. I don't think anybody's walking around saying, we're gonna make the college football playoff this year. I think.
Well, we got lots of fans telling me 11 wins, so apparently they think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is, man, these coaches know what it looks like when it's humming, right, and when things are really, really good, and they also know when it looks like crap. And I think they're enthusiastic about the changes that were made in the offseason, all of them. I didn't get a sense that anybody is not bought in from a coaching staff perspective, the guys that have to make these decisions. I thought Mario was more excited and enthusiastic. I thought his coordinators, Shannon Dawson said there's more than enough talent here to do things. So to me, their impressions of what this looks like, they feel good. But I also think they know they're counting on a lot of freshmen and a lot of transfers, guys that weren't here last year, to deliver. And do the math every year. None of you never have an entire freshman class come in and become All-Americans right away. You may have 2 or 3. You never have every single transfer pan out. So there will be improvement, but it'll be steady, sort of progressive improvement.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, so no serious injuries. We still don't know what's going on in the receiving corps. We kind of don't know. Hoping
well,
that
Tyler Harrell's a kid who's had those foot injuries, the speedster on the outside, and I think he left practice the other day kind of gingerly walking. But listen, that's going to happen with guys that have foot injuries. And so one day you might see him walking off the field like that. The next day, if he's back out there running sprints, whatever. I mean, these are football players. They get banged up. This is part of the deal. And I would say with Tyler Harrell, until we see him in the game, we really don't know how effective he's going to be. He didn't play last year at Alabama, hardly at all. So, Let's see him in a game. That's what I try to tell everybody. Everybody wants to know, hey, what's going on in practice? I wish I had something awesome and juicy to tell you, but you know.
I know it sucks. They don't give you guys any looks, so yeah, it's hard to really get a feel for what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But I know once in a while you'll get a couple things that'll trickle down.
Oh, sure. I'll share them. I'll be happy to share them with you.
Nothing's trickling right now.
No, because they really haven't done much in the way of serious work.
Shorts. Right.
Yeah, they're in shorts. I mean, they went through a week of shorts. Now they're getting into pads and doing stuff, and we will see it. To me, this time of year is who survives injury-wise, who gets hurt. There's somebody always gets hurt, brother. Some guy always, gets hit in the knee. He pulls, sprains an ACL, an MCL, something. It always
someone
happens.
That isn't Zion, because Zion is always injured.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, let's look. They're gonna have Canes Fest on Saturday. I think at Hard Rock, right? Where people will be able to go and watch him in practice. Mario will be extremely vanilla because he's very conscious that somebody's out there with a camera recording everything. But hey, fans will get a listen. I'm not gonna be at Canes Fest. I got my nephew's baptism that I got to attend on Saturday. So I want somebody to tell me what they look like. I want the fans to give me their breakdown. I think they're better. I don't think they're overwhelmingly better. That's it.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think it's going to take a little time to build this thing back up again. They were really bad, so I'm with you there. I don't put a ton of expectations on them this year. If they surpass them, fantastic. I just don't expect it right now. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic, and of course, catch him twice a week. You're doing his thing with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
You got it, baby. There you go. The great Manny Navarro as we get closer and closer to the hurricane season. Yeah, baby. Don't forget, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States, #1 dealership, and you can go visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. 3.9% financing for 36 months right now. The Summer of Performance event going on, and tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, take it from, we've had several Acuras in our family and still drive Acuras in our family, and always reliable, great vehicles. So check it out for yourself at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines Boulevard. Let's see what else. Stanford thought that they were in the third best TV contract conference last week. I mean, the Pac-12 has been crap for a long time. It's really a bootleg conference as it is. I don't care who the QB is. With no O-line, the Finns offense, we suck. Yeah. Like any offense is going to suck without an O-line. That's just, it's not really breaking news. That's just kind of a fact. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? We have the opponent for Friday for Inter Miami. Charlotte will be taking on Inter Miami in the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup. Yesterday, they beat the Houston Dynamo. Houston pretty much had that match, bro. I mean, they kind of gave it away at the end there. Charlotte ends up winning it. So now we will find out if they move on to the semis on Friday night. They haven't determined the time. I love that. What, 7:30 or 8 o'clock? I mean, give me a break. What are they going to do? 9? What are they going to do? 6:30? Come on, bro. It's like they haven't determined the time. Really? It takes you that long to try to figure out 7:30 or 8 o'clock? Probably going to do 8 o'clock just because, just to make it prime time. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, and the rain showers for sure. Unfortunately, the rain showers. But we got an opponent. So look at what a game the other night, dude. That was awesome. That was awesome. So our man Mike McDaniel has not made a commitment yet to playing Tua or the offense in the first preseason game, and I know it's a topic for people. And I got to tell you something. I normally would not want Tua to play at all. Just the third game, get him out there. But here's my problem, and it's not with Tua. Rarely is ever with Tua. It's about the O-line. And the only way you're going to find out if the O-line gets better is by actually playing the 5 guys that you think at that moment you're going to try to start. And have Tua take one series with them. That's all. And Tua should be way more alert that, hey, somebody breaks, there's a jailbreak on the line. Just get rid of it, kid. Just get rid of it. Don't worry about it. It's a preseason. You don't need to play hero ball, and I think he knows that. So I think overall you'll be pretty safe. I mean, anybody can get injured at any moment, but, it's a couple of snaps. You're out of there quickly. Get rid of the ball quickly, maybe a handoff, just so you can get a little feel for that first-team offense under Tua before you hand it off to Mike White for a first-team offense. You know what I'm saying? Because I would at least just one series, and it's not about Tua. It's about Connor and Tua. It's about who the left guard is. It's about who the right tackle is at that moment, and try them out for a series. Not that you're going to get the final answer there, but just maybe helps you get a little feel for where you're at. And then you go into the week of practice, and if you make any other changes, and so be it, and then the following week, you put the changes back up there as a starting 5 if Kendall Lamb becomes your starting right tackle, like I think he should be. I think Kendall Lamb should be your right tackle, and I think Isaiah Wynn should be your left guard. I don't know what they're waiting for to make that move, but I would make that move with the stuff I've seen from Austin. And by the way, I've seen people talk about Austin Jackson playing well. I'm not sure exactly what they're watching. Not really sure what they're watching. It is up and down in a big time way. So in a perfect world, if your line was settled, I don't want to see Tua at all. But in this case, I would try to play him just one series. That's it. And get him the hell out right away. But at least I give the guys up front a feel for my starters against your starters. And let me see where my starters are at, especially left guard and right tackle. That's how I would handle it. My prediction, Tua doesn't play in the first game. That's my prediction. That's what I think will end up happening. All right. Marlins, by the way, lost to the Reds last night, 5-2. Did you realize that the Marlins are 5-17 since the start of the second half? 5-17. As I told you yesterday, look, Bruce Sherman looks like a really nice guy. He has never shown me a commitment to winning. And they made moves like they thought they were a good team. And this is why they're in this position. Because you really didn't assess it, or you just want to be cheap. And you just wanted to, try to do almost enough. And I like the moves they made, but those moves I knew weren't going to put you over the top because you didn't bring a star bat in here. That's what you needed. Soler, by the way, did hit his 27th home run. You could dump him by the end of the month through the waiver system. If the Yankees are still in it, by the way, I don't know. They're toast, right? So the Yankees aren't gonna. They're out, right? How bad is it for the Yankees? Because somebody may want Soler. Figured the Yankees would. Today, Braxton Garrett and Luke Weaver. Luke, I am your father, Weaver, on the mound. So what? 58 and 55? About how many games are they out in the wild card? No. Forget the division. They lost the division. They have no shot at the division. It's the wild card. How far are they out of the wild card? I think it's like 4 or 5, right? Yeah, it does. At the top of the standings, you'll see a little thing that says wild card. And then you can hit it. What can I tell you? Anyway, where am I staying in Montreal? I don't know the name of the hotel, bro. I'm not sure. I'll tell you after when I'm there. If you guys want to come by. 5.5. Yeah, no, I told you 4.5, 5. 5.5, yeah. That's not too bad, but the way they're playing, that's insurmountable almost. That's the problem with them. Let's see. What's Liam's weakness? Strength? Is it his feet? Pass blocking? Feet and reading. He just doesn't react properly, dude. He's slow. No doubt says, anybody going to see Counting Crows at the Amp in St. Augustine tonight? It's a decent concert. They're a fun band to see. Counting Crows alone? Really? Or is it with somebody else? Anthony says, Big O, football's almost here. No, it's already here. Super excited. Went to Universal and Disney. I'm blown away by the Guardians ride now that Tyreek's treatment brought to you by Nature Bee. Big O, wasn't Liam better at center than other? Liam hasn't been better at anything, dude. Okay, he just snapped the ball a couple times at center. Let's not get carried away in a mini camp. Oh, have you commented on the brawl in Bama? Is that the one by the pier or whatever? Yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty. You know what I do want to comment on is Kevin Brown, not the former Marlins pitcher, but the Orioles broadcaster. And the Orioles, and I got to tell you, one of the things that I am so proud of for myself, most happy with, is that we have been on a platform now for over 2 years on our own. We don't answer to anybody, and we get to do what we want, say what we want, root for whoever we want, disapprove whatever we want, criticize whatever we want, compliment whatever we want, and we don't answer to a damn thing. Okay? I am most proud of that because most of the people, in fact, 99% of the people in our business, they just got to put up with a lot of crap. And they got to do things and say things they don't want to say. I get to avoid all of that on this platform. So I am blessed. And I've told you this before. They lie to you in every way to protect their bottom line. It doesn't matter if the NFL is lying to you about head trauma. It doesn't matter if Fox is lying to you about the election. It doesn't matter if Biden and Powell are lying to you about our economy. It doesn't matter, dude. The lying is everywhere at all levels. It doesn't matter if it's sports, entertainment, politics, news. They will lie to you to protect their bottom line. And they'll do anything to do it. And in this case, it's negative talk. So Kevin Brown comes out and gives the stats. You know, the Orioles are in the middle of a really great season for them. They're fantastic. And they have struggled in the past against Tampa Bay. They've lost their 15 consecutive series against Tampa Bay. So Kevin Brown was just giving the stats and how things are changing and how the Orioles are playing better and they have a chance here to, really turn the corner even against Tampa. And the man gets suspended on the 26th of July for those comments. They weren't insulting, abusive, negative, nothing. It was just a broadcaster doing his job and describing where the team is at and where it was and where it's going to. And in a way, he was putting a positive spin on a very difficult run for the Orioles against the Rays. And they suspend him because they can't handle the truth. I tell you because I've worked with this. I've told you the story of a program director telling me, hey, do you have to call Whiteside a knucklehead? We do have a relationship with the team. Like the Heat is ever going to call me about that or care. But that's what the corporate world is. It's in a point where they don't care about you because the same corporation owns this bank, owns this magazine, this TV corporation, and then all of a sudden this internet company and this news organization. So guess what? They're affected by all kinds of things. So they're protecting all the bottom lines constantly. That's what all these corporations are constantly doing. And guess who they throw under the bus? Him, me, whoever works there. Because now you got to say what they want you to say. Because if you don't, you lose your job. There is no credibility in the media nowadays. And sometimes it's the media's fault, but a lot of times it's the corporation that they work for. And then they're limited. They can't do this. They can't say that. And then that becomes a problem for them. And Kevin Brown has been suspended for simply doing his job and telling the truth. You know, the Marlins let go of a guy that was their play-by-play guy on radio for a long time, and he was a stats guy. And so when you're a bad team every year like the Marlins, it's hard for your stats to look great. So maybe that's why they let him go. It's not because he was a bad broadcaster. He did an excellent job. He described everything that was going on the field. But he did his job, and sometimes you can't even do your job. It's a disgrace. And by the way, kudos to Scott Van Pelt and Michael Kay and Gary Cohen and all that. Now, see, the problem is they also work for organizations that they're going to have to do some of this. Maybe not to the extreme of that, but they're going to have to dance around stuff too at times because they're tied to teams and tied to organizations and tied to, corporations. So they know what it's like, but this is gutless on the Orioles' part. Disgustingly gutless on the Orioles' part. Weak. Embarrassing. Can't believe that they did something like this. And they deserve everyone to rip them. They really do. What a soft organization the Orioles are. Holy moly. What a bunch of wussies. They can't even it's all Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. How ridiculous. And maybe the Marlins couldn't handle the truth when their radio announcer was giving the stats on a consistent basis. Who knows? Who knows? Hey, by the way, the Interrupters are coming to town. You know, I'm a big Interrupters fan. I love my ska music. They're coming to town. Check this out. November 7th to the Fort Lauderdale Revolution Live. So will the AC be on? So I'm thinking about this now. For my friends in St. Pete and in Orlando, November 4 and 5, they're there in St. Pete and in Orlando at the House of Blues. November 7th is a Tuesday. So I'm thinking I might go up with the wife to go see them November 4th and 5th in St. Pete and in Orlando. See them twice. I love the Interrupters. God, love the Interrupters. But, and then November 7th, maybe I'll go by myself. I won't take the wife just in case there's no AC and the poor woman won't have to sweat. Ow! Uh-oh. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. Like it. Let me give you a little music history. Today, let's start off a little hip hop. On August 8th in 2006, Miami-based rapper released and debuted his album Port of Miami. The album was led by the debut single Hustlin', which eventually got the remix treatment from Jeezy and Jay-Z. Ricky Rose, his first studio album contained 19 tracks, including other hits like Push It, Blow, featuring Dre, and Cross the Line with Akon, with productions from The Runners, Cool and Dre, DJ Khaled, DJ Nasty, and more. Other artists like Mario Winans, Life Jennings, Lloyd, Lil Wayne, and Briscoe also appeared on the album. Also, in music history, today in 1969,
Photographer Ian McMillan took 6 shots of the Beatles crossing Abbey Road for the cover of the album of the same name. Historic. In 1996, that's where you spin 6 and 9 now, during a Kiss concert in Cincinnati, a fan threw a fake leg on stage. All band members signed it and handed it back to him. Now that is awesome. Huh? The guy throws up his fake leg, he gets it signed, and they hand it back to him. That is just beautiful. In 92, Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose walked off the stage after 55 minutes at a concert in Montreal, complaining of a sore throat. The other band on the bill that night, Metallica, also ended their set early because James Hetfield was injured by pyrotechnics. The audience rioted, overturning cars, smashing windows, and setting fire and looting stores. It's a proper way to react. In 81 on this date, MTV aired its first stereo concert with REO Speedwagon, who are promoting their recent album, High Infidelity. Great album. In 87, less than 3 months after they went to number 1 on the charts with or Without You, U2 had another number 1 hit off the Joshua Tree, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. And in 2006, Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker filed for divorce from ex-beauty queen Shannon Moakler. And that's what happened today in music history. Birthdays today. Let's go. Shawn Mendes, Macon Boys singer. He is 25. Boxer Ryan Garcia is 25. Actress Aubrey Miller is 22. Roger Federer is 42. Megan, it's all good, is 42. Let's see. Dustin Hoffman is 86. Anthony Rizzo, baseball player, 34. Jen Salter, model, she is 30. Let's see who else. It's just a bunch of people that I don't know. And that's it. Those are your birthdays today. How about Shayna Baszler, an MMA fighter? Do you know her? Baszler, that's it. 43. Okay, she's 43. So I don't know her, but I got to mention, because I like bringing up the wrestlers, and because I usually don't know most of the wrestlers. No, that's it. That's the only kind of fighting person that I saw out of that list. So those are your birthdays today. How about that? It's a beautiful thing. Saints, by the way, are going to sign Kareem Hunt and Anthony Barr, the linebacker. Remember, Alvin Kamara has a 3-game suspension. So now that Alvin Kamara got his suspension because their legal issues were done, what happens to Tyreek now? And we've got a couple of weeks here. Cross your fingers that there's no suspension. I'm terrified. I think he's going to get a game. Even though I think they can win the game against the Chargers without him, to be quite honest. But I think he's going to miss a game. I just have a feeling, dude. Sucks, but I just think they're going to suspend him for a game. Metallica's truck driver crashed this morning in New York, killing the driver. Oh, really? But put Metallica News. Metallica News truck driver. Put that in. It should come out if he did die. He died. Let's see what else do we have here. There's enough money in Miami to buy out the contract with the ACC. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, dude. 67. What are you going to do? Have a GoFundMe page? Yeah, I don't think that's going to end up happening. Yeah, Tua looked all right. He did solid today. Made a mistake, but overall, he was solid today. How about Richard Sherman? He's going to take the job. Not full-time, but he's going to be opposite of Skip Baseless.
I saw that. That was crazy. Don't forget, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciated out there. Any way you guys can support us. And it's interesting, right? Because the markets they're still down. The Dow's down 158 points. S&P's down 19. NASDAQ is barely up. And yet, crypto is actually up. Pretty interesting. Bitcoin's approaching 30,000, 29.9, 29.97 right now. Crazy. And the CPI numbers come out tomorrow, I think, right? Or Thursday. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of stuff. Illuvium up 5.5%, approaching $49. H-bar's up 9%, over 6 cents. I like it. So, weird way, the crypto market is up, dude. It is up. Kind of weird. Kind of strange. You guys got any questions? Fire away. Send them in right now. What is your favorite U2 album? Oh, War is my favorite U2 album. And Drowning Man is my favorite song. Okay? Love Unforgettable Fire, Nick. That's probably my second favorite album. War first, Unforgettable Fire second. Let's see. It was a company called Upstage that carries Metallica's gear. One of their drivers crashed into a car hauler this morning. Either it was the driver for Metallica or the car hauler that passed away. My uncle drives semis for rap artist Drake and 21 Savage. He told me about it. Okay. Is there anything there? You know what? Because it wasn't the tour bus. That's why it's not on news. You're just talking about a truck taking the equipment. That's probably why. The only time it, huh? No, it won't affect me at all. I don't think so. They have multiple trucks with stages. You know what I mean? And they have multiple drivers too. I hate to be cold and callous, but yeah, the show must go on. You know what I'm saying, brother? ZZ Top. Okay, Dusty Hill dies. He dies. He dies. And they go on tour like a month later. Brian Johnson, after all these years with AC/DC, I can't hear, mates. Okay, keep your ass there. We're going to go get Axel. We're out of here. The show must go on, dude. It must go on. Okay? It's just the way it goes. It doesn't matter. The show goes on. They don't stop, dude. They are ruthless when it comes to that. There's so much money involved that it just doesn't stop them from continuing, you know? So they will find another driver right away and somebody will take over and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And they'll mourn and all that, and then they'll dedicate the next show to the driver. You know, it's kind of what they do. Are we going to win the Super Bowl? I've been waiting my whole life. Well, Finn's rule, listen, I expect them to win the Super Bowl. So take it for whatever you want. But I don't know about you. Sean and I will be in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. Not sure what you guys are doing, but we're going to be in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl for the Dolphins winning it all. Now, you guys do whatever you want. We'll take you with us here on the platform. So that's all I can tell you. Walking on eggshells is no way to broadcast. Well, that's what you hear on radio every day. They can't say certain things. It's just the way it is. They can't talk about a certain team that way or whatever. Just the way it is. So, you know. What do we got? What are we finna have here? Players have complained to head coach. Oh, yeah, I read that about Eric Bieniemy. Nicky wrote a whole thing, and then he's like, "Well, you got to go talk to him, and you gotta air it out, and all this kind of stuff." Man, there is no other coach that has your back like EB. Take that coaching and get better. We've all been through. It's tough, but I promise you, it will make you better. Yeah, exactly. We have a soft society. We just have. And the Washington Redskins are a bunch of, I'm sorry, the Washington Commanders are a bunch of losers. And they don't know how to win. And so Eric Bieniemy has been winning for a while. And you got to listen to the man because it's not like what you were doing was working. So shut up and take the coaching. And that's it. And if Eric can't do the job, he will get exposed. But at the moment, I have to lean to Eric, not the players from Washington, because the players from Washington haven't ever accomplished anything. No one in Washington has accomplished anything since some guy named Joe Gibbs. It's been a clown show. Just like here in Miami, I think before Mike McDaniel, we've had the same kind of clown show as Washington for 20 years. Both Miami and Washington were royalty in the NFL. They are no longer royalty. And they both have to learn how to win and how to become good franchises again. How about become great franchises again? Because that's what Miami and Washington were. They were great franchises. And now they're, Miami's on the way up now, but Washington still has a ways to go. So I got to lean Eric Bieniemy. I'm not going to lean anybody in Washington. You guys haven't done shit. You're straight up hot garbage. So start proving something. And players, by the way, it's just kind of our society. It's soft. They can't handle the truth. That's maybe that's why we have some of the people running corporations and they're just as soft. That's why they did what they did with Kevin Brown. Radio will never be able to be honest about the Marlins and saw anything negative about the owner. Well, maybe if you listen to me, it didn't matter if I was on QAM. I was going to tell you the truth. So it didn't matter. That's why it was tough for me in this business. And that's why I butted heads with the people above me a lot of times because, I'm not playing that game. I'm old school, man. I'm going to call it like I see it. It is what it is. Hear me out, Big O. Finns trade our 2024 first-round pick and Mostert for Andrew Luck. U2 is for suckers. 70s Kiss rules. 2023 Ghost even better. Wow, there's a lot of really crappy stuff that you put there. I feel terrible even reading most of this, Marcus. Okay, first of all, you have no life with a first-rounder and Mostert for Andrew Luck. Like you're thinking of Andrew Luck right now. I mean, really, seriously, dude. And Indy, if they're going to do anything, they're going to keep Andrew Luck if he ever would have come back. Not that he's coming back at this point. Yeah. U2 is the best band ever. God, the Edge is so beautiful with his guitar playing. The Edge is one of the most creative guitarists on the history of the planet. Not greatest. He's not Jimi Hendrix. He's not Yngwie Malmsteen. He's not Eddie Van Halen. He's not, a ton of guitarists. Eric Clapton, and I can just go on and on and on, and Zakk Wylde and all that kind of stuff. Not that kind. But he is a great, great guitarist because the sounds, the creativeness that he is with that guitar, man, I'm with you. Edge doesn't get enough credit for how great he is. And I get it. He's not George Benson or something, where George can just fly through the frets and pick like a maniac. You know what I'm saying? What happened, bro? What are you so concerned about? Okay, in major sports betting deal, ESPN has cut a deal with casino owner Penn Entertainment to launch ESPN Bet, a branded sports book. ESPN Bet will launch this fall in 16 states where Penn has sports betting licenses. It will replace the Barstool Sportsbook. In connection with the deal, Penn will sell Barstool's Sports, which is acquired in 2020. Barstool founder Dave Portnoy is the buyer of the brand. Our primary focus is always to serve sports fans, and we know what they want, both betting content and the ability to place bets with less friction from within our products. The strategy here is simple: to give fans what they've been requesting and expecting from ESPN. Penn Entertainment is the perfect partner to build an unmatched user experience for sports betting with ESPN Bet. Okay, they gotta come up with revenue streams, because if not, they'll fall behind. U2 is synonymous with boring. There you go, Marcus. There you go. Bieniemy and Ron Rivera are the only coaches that have had some source of success within that organization. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you there. Let's see. Big O, does Jason Sanders being 3 of 7 from 50 yards in training concerns the special teams? Now, I'm not worried about that right now. So, not worried at all. What happened? Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'll start worrying about it in games and all that kind of stuff if it happens. He kind of turned the corner last year, so hopefully he's been a good kicker throughout most of his career. He went through a funk. Looks like he kind of got out of it towards the end of last year. I'm not going to overreact at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth it. So it's kind of silly. It's kind of like people overreacting on depth charts. It's kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? Incredibly stupid to be overreacting on depth charts. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, excellent sponsor of ours. We love William and Mike. And folks, when you add landscaping to your property, it raises the value of your business, your home. It just takes it to another level. Plus, like in our case, it creates, you pay mortgage for the entire property. Sometimes you're not using it. I had the backyard, and it was kind of like it was just there with a bunch of dead grass and some of it alive and weeds, and all it was for the dogs to just do their business and come back. Now it's got this incredible life. We've got the artificial turf for the dogs to keep them, cool constantly. And on top of all of that, really easy to maintain. Then we've added all kinds of trees and flowers and all kinds of stuff. And now we've got a backyard that's got life. And it's a beautiful thing, man. So you can go and hang out there. We can cook. We can do all kinds of stuff, hang out with the dogs, play around. I'm telling you, man, Cutter's Edge Pro, tree trimming and removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation design and build, synthetic turf. And the synthetic turf, if you own dogs, the greatest invention out there. So easy to maintain. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. 954-472-0622. That's 954-472-0622. For the best in the business, call William or Mike, Cutter's Edge Pro, and go to the Instagram page. You'll be impressed with the work there, too. You'll see some of their work also. All right, we are out of here, folks. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank Sean Stanley, the man that masters this entire platform every single day. We thank, of course, Frank Fiore is the man, the myth, the legend. He is so amazing. Steve Calabro, awesome as always. The Brunetti family, always proud sponsors and always with us here. And we really appreciate it. Everybody made it nice and easy for us to broadcast out here like they do every week. We will be back on Thursday starting next week. The last 2 weeks we've done Tuesdays. They've been kind enough to accommodate us because we've been traveling. Tomorrow we take off to Canada. We'll be back on Monday, but we'll be broadcasting live from Canada the rest of the days, not the weekends, okay? I did that in Canton because we were there with Zach Thomas, and, we got Zach. We interviewed Zach on Sunday. If you haven't seen the Zach Thomas interview, it's right there on our platform. Please subscribe to Big O Radio Show. Please hit that like button. Hit the notification bell. That way you know every time that we go live. We appreciate all of you out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See a million, win a million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see a million, win a million.